our weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
Hey guys, Inferno here. Continuing my playthrough of The Forgotten City by Modern Storyteller. It's coming out on Steam on July 28, 2021, and I believe it's coming to consoles, but I'm not sure of those particular details. So just continuing my story playthrough. This essentially, I was looking for a friend, and I went into a cave try and find him, and I found little notes, and I scratched the mobile phone, and essentially we fell down a well and then was transported 2,000 years into the past, the Roman times. And so now now that the game's released, I can tell you the plot line is essentially if someone breaks the golden rule, everyone is turned to gold and dies, obviously, and then the game loops. So it's a gameplay loop. So you've got to try and I haven't done much of the story yet, but my understanding is you've got to try and kind of manipulate the world such that you loop, and the next time you come back it might have made a slight difference. So I'm going through the story here, and we just spoke to Yes.
Ah, back again, I see.
And so he so we need to get some silphium resin to help heal someone in the medical room.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
Then he's asking for 1,000 denarii, which none of us can afford.
That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years?
And then...
Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget?
Okay, so we also need to...
Another time.
There's a quest log in here. Is it L? Okay, nope. Okay. Tab. Here we go. So the main goals. Point of origin. I've travelled thousands of years into the past. I'll need to find a way back to my original timeline somehow. So figure out how to return to your original timeline. Perhaps whoever brought me here can send me back. And we have to create a time paradox. According to Sentius, I'll be flung back to my own time if I can create a paradox. I'll need to change history in a way that makes my being in the past impossible. For example, Sentius says if I prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, then he'll never create the portal, and it'll be impossible for me to be in the past, a paradox. Then we've got, this city lives in fear of a mysterious law called the golden rule. We have to learn about the rule, which we did. It seems everyone... Well, figure out who is most likely to break the golden rule and inform Sentius. It seems everyone in the city is going to die because of one person breaking the golden rule. I need to figure out who it is. To that end, Sentius asked me to talk to everyone and help them if it'll win their trust. He also authorized me to enter their homes and inspect their possessions and documents if necessary. So we've got options here. Tell Sentius you suspect Decius. Decius let Lulia die because he's price gouging for life-saving medicine, which we know. Or we tell Sentius you suspect Lucretia. Lucretia swore she'd kill Decius if he continued to withhold the life-saving medicine. Tell Sentius you suspect Sentia. Sentia seems strangely relaxed about the disappearance of her sister Centilla. And I actually annoyed her such that she won't let me back talking to her again. That's annoying. Or tell Sentius you suspect Domitius. Domitius has been intimidating voters into voting for Malleolus. Then I have some leads. So it's election day and Malleolus is helping to oust Sentius as magistrate. I'll need to stop him somehow. I've got to figure out how to make Malleolus drop out of the election. I'll need to dig up some dirt on him and then meet him. Dying gasp. Something's wrong at the Shrine of Apollo. So try to persuade Decius to have it, which failed. Find out what's distressing the creature. This guy, Decius, is withholding the Siphium. And then steal the Siphium resin from Decius' store. There's no way Decius is going to sell me this dilithium. It's a Silphium, sorry. Straight as a note, a bow might come in useful, so we've got to obtain a bow somehow. Behind closed doors, I hear Naevia locked herself in the palace. I should find her. The front door is locked, there must be another way in. The locked video. Dominius has denied me access to Meliola's villa. I'll need to get creative up and get inside. Figure out how to get into Meliola's villa. So, I've got Decius there. No one else around, so I'm just going to attempt to steal the resin. A bottle of Silphium resin, an extremely valuable ancient Roman remedy for various afflictions. Steal item.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh, damn. No items. Okay. We're back to the start. Okay, so we followed that. Now we're going to go back here.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Inferno Darkness and we've had this conversation before.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Your name is Galerius and you're about to offer to take me to see Sentius so he can tell me about the Golden Rule.
Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
No problem,
Oh,
I have to go.
and since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
Oh, nice. So we've got a zipline handlebar, a rudimentary wooden zipline handlebar. And so we can examine the item with the right mouse button. Or we take with the left.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking. And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably.
Thanks, I'll be going now.
Alright, see you around.
Alright, so in my inventory is the Silphium resin. So I managed to take it even though we did the time loop. So I'm supposed to run across. Apparently I can. I'm just going to save it. Save. And then I am going to inventory, zipline handlebar, and there, right. Hey, oh, awesome. Up here, back into.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cumbulatus Decius won't give it to me.
I have Silphium resin here, take a little.
What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you. Hopefully, in a moment, she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing, and at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
Honestly, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I heard she got sick earlier and went to find medicine. Wouldn't believe me.
Look, if you don't want to tell me, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. But no matter. That was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
Okay, what's your story?
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
How'd you end up here?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked, and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Say what you will about this place, at least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it.
Why are you working out of a shrine?
This shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Tell me more about Navia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good too, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying, but I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain. I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Navia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Yep, this will prioritize the quest, showing its objective markers only. I'll get right on it.
Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you. Let me know how you go.
Alright. Oh, so Lily is up.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
Can I ask what happened to you?
As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it. Please, no more questions.
Lewis. Let's see. Want to know how someone poisoned you without breaking the golden rule?
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler.
Is that who poisoned you?
Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
Right, let's talk about something
Thank
else. You know of a way out of here.
I tried to escape, but look where it got me.
What happened?
I can tell you, but it's a long story.
I have all the time in the world.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
Thinking you'd be out of here before you ever had to pay back the loan.
I'm not proud of it, but yes. I was surprised he agreed to it, to be honest. But I was so happy to have the money I didn't question it. I had to sign an agreement, saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock.
What's hemlock?
It's a deadly poison made from a plant. Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only, he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
Surely that would have broken the golden rule.
That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa, confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She sent me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours. Only for her, those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing.
Ooh, what's
my
this?
hemlock.
Nice. So you poisoned yourself?
I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
So sorry to hear
I
that.
brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
But what'll happen to you now?
When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
Sorry, can I do anything to help?
I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Huh. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
I have a better idea. How much would it cost to buy your freedom?
A lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night. He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now. If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
Okay, perhaps I can help him too.
I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
I'll get right on it. Okay, so...
May Apollo keep you safe.
Alright, let's go back up to the Great Temple. How do we get up there? This way. Yes. I'm locking myself in, don't try to follow me, nothing good will come of it. There you go. Come back to that. I try and get up here. You see there's a dude on the edge. Oh gosh.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
Actually, I really need to talk to Ulpius.
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please, please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him.
Yes.
If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him.
Alright, I'll talk to him.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Ulpius, can we talk?
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire.
No, I think you have the right to die if you're suffering badly now.
You're not going to trick me. I'm no coward. I intend to go through with it.
I just think there are reasons to stay alive.
Like what? I'm stuck slaving away for that Culus Cumulatis for the rest of my life. What do I have to live for?
Maybe we can be friends?
You're just saying that to buy time. You must think I'm an idiot. I'm out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no!
Yeepers.
I can't believe he went through with it. Oh Lord. That poor lamb.
His suicide didn't break the golden rule. What does that mean?
Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the Golden Rule. So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for it. It isn't mine.
What happens now?
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Oh, okay, it's telling me to jump. That's interesting. Oh, there's a pool there, and then there's a hole in the bottom of the pool. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to
Yes.
have been elected your magistrate. Magistrate. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to be elected your magistrate. And now. And now. Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above? That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me?
Oh, this is Malleolus. What's your story?
I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today.
What will you do if you win?
I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to this city, just as I've been promising. These good people have suffered long enough under Sentius's tyranny.
You've got one blue eye, one green eye. How will you do that?
By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie?
What makes you sure it's not real?
The person making a claim bears the onus of proving that claim. Can you do that? Can you prove the Golden Rule is real?
Golden Rule's definitely real.
Nonsense! There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already.
So, I'm reliving the same day over and over again. The golden rule's broken each time. What would it take to prove to you it's real? Books, notes? Even if I can't prove it, if I'm right, then accepting it will avert disaster. If I'm wrong, then accepting it will make the city a better place. Isn't that a good thing?
I disagree. I'll be guided by what is best for the city's people, and that means giving them the freedom to do as they wish.
What would it take to prove to you it's real? Books, notes?
Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you read. As if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it down.
I'm reliving the same day over and over again. The golden rule is broken each time.
What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer.
See, nothing I say is going to convince you.
True, but that is simply because you are mistaken.
What do you think about the golden rule?
You mean the children's fable exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants?
You know of a way out of here?
I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it.
I'll be going now.
I trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time. There's a key just beside it.
Okay. You exit through the door. Oh, there's a key just there.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to be elected.
Alright, so, tab. Figure out how to stop all this from killing itself. We didn't do that. Pour in the pour. Okay, I need to speak to Navia or find the solution another way. So I'm going to reach Navia in the palace. And a bow. Got to figure out how to make Malleolus drop out of the election. Okay.
And now,
So, we go this way? No. Oh, maybe I can. Yes, I can. Who's this guy? Stranger?
What now?
What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus? You go through me.
Why are you dressed like a gladiator?
Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why.
Fair enough. You know a way out of here?
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
What do you think about the golden rule?
I think it's gone on long enough. And Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
How's he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Why can't you tell me now?
Because if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
Can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
Who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
We're going
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Right.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river, unconscious, and set me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
It's an older name, but not uncommon where I'm from.
Older. I see. wonder if... No.
What were you going to say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
Alright, I'll do that.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
What happened to Livia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill, or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
I have already noticed a pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
That's all I've noticed.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
You know the way out of here?
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We ask for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Why not?
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic, realizing only a select few possess such powers. Says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish. So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
I agree, or perhaps it's that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing the test, and they don't even have to tell you what the rules are. I'd like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves. I agree.
I'm pleased to hear it.
What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
What's your role in the election?
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Who's
All
allowed to
of the
vote?
male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course.
Can I vote then?
Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such as?
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
Nominate another
You
candidate?
can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Okay.
Certainly.
I've been asking people about how they wound up here.
And did you notice anything?
Oh, I've done that already. That's all.
Keep living.
I'll be going
Come
now.
back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the...